Most people think the flippening is just a chart flip, Ethereum overtaking Bitcoin in market cap, but that moment isn't cosmetic, it's systemic. It's not a price event, it's a protocol inversion, a cultural shift, a rethreading of crypto's entire hierarchy. Bitcoin has always been the anchor, the vault, the sovereign grade store of value. Ethereum? Well, that's the builder's chain, the modular engine. Now, this isn't the first time the flippening's been whispered. Back in 2017, it was meme grade hype, rather. But Ethereum at that point didn't have staking. No layer 2s, no ETF flows. Today, the infrastructure is mature. The signals are real. If Ethereum overtakes Bitcoin, it won't be a meme, it'll be a milestone. And CoinOps doesn't speculate on that moment. We simulate it. So let's start with capital flow. Bitcoin has always been the liquidity magnet, institutional flows, ETF weightings, macro grade vault logic, all of it centered on Bitcoin. But if Ethereum flips it, that flow will reverse. Ethereum staking yield becomes the new anchor. Institutions don't just hold Ethereum, they earn on it. ETF allocations rebalance toward Ethereum. Ethereum becomes the dominant settlement layer. Layer 2 is surge in relevance. Bitcoin's role shifts from leader to legacy vault. And here's the key. Bitcoin ETFs are vault logic. Ethereum ETFs are yield logic. That changes how institutions allocate. This isn't just a market cap flip. It's a reallocation of trust. And when trust moves, liquidity follows. Now Bitcoin, that's the origin story. Ethereum, however, is the evolution. If Ethereum flips Bitcoin, the cultural narrative rewrites itself. Bitcoin maximalism loses dominance. The idea that Bitcoin is the only valid asset, it fades. Ethereum's developer-first ethos becomes the new standard. Smart contracts become the default. Governments, staking, and modular infrastructure become the norm. Meme coins, NFTs, decentralized autonomous organizations, once dismissed, gain legitimacy as Ethereum native artifacts. If Ethereum leads, the culture shifts from scarcity to creativity, from vaults to builders. The flippening isn't just economic, it's a cultural rethreading. Ethereum, it isn't just a coin, it's a platform. If it leads in market cap, protocol dominance follows. Layer 2s like Optimism, Arbitrum, and Base become primary scaling lanes. Lido becomes a liquidity hub. Smart contract standards shift towards Ethereum native logic. Bitcoin's infrastructure remains static. Ethereum's evolves. Bitcoin is static by design. Ethereum evolves by design. The flippening marks that divergence. Ethereum becomes the default for dApps, DeFi, and governance. Bitcoin becomes the vault, still sovereign, but no longer dominant. That is the protocol inversion. And it's not theoretical, it's already threading. So, CoinOps doesn't wait for headlines. We simulate outcomes. If Ethereum approaches Bitcoin's market cap, we don't chase price, we map behaviors. We timestamp ETH over Bitcoin ratio compression zones. We track layer 2 volume. We monitor staking inflows. We scan governance token pivots. We build watch lists that activate when Ethereum leads. If Ethereum is gaining strength and Bitcoin is holding steady, well, that's a green light for Ethereum-based exposure. If Ethereum is rising and Bitcoin is dropping, that's a volatility spike. High risk, yes, but high reward. If Ethereum is rising and ecosystem's coins are still flat, that's a setup. We wait for confirmation. We don't deploy an emotion, we timestamp the ratio. We track volume, we wait for confirmation. This is how disciplined systems operate. Not emotionally, but strategically. So if you're watching this before the flippening, you're early. That's good, because when it hits, it won't be subtle, it'll be systemic. Here's what to watch. Ethereum over Bitcoin ratio compression zones, Ethereum staking inflows, especially into Lido, layer 2 volume spikes, optimism, arbitrum, base, things like that, ETF rebalancing towards Ethereum, governance token pivots, especially in staking and DAO ecosystems. This isn't just a coin op simulation, it's a viewer simulation. What would you rotate if ETH flips BTC? Which ecosystems of coins would you track? How would you timestamp your entries and exits? Legacy is built by those who prepare. The flippening isn't guaranteed, but if it happens, it won't be cosmetic, it'll be cultural, economic, protocol level. And when it hits, coin ops won't be scrambling, we'll be executing. Watch lists will activate, beta ploys will deploy. Exit zones will be timestamped, because legacy isn't built on speculation, it's built on preparation. And when Ethereum flips Bitcoin, it won't whisper, it'll detonate.